Hello, welcome to Lemon Shoes, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Disclosure Day. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Shall I leave a like? Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Disclosure Day, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So the latest from Stephen Spielberg. So first and foremost, full disclosure, no pun intended, but Stephen Spielberg to me is the GOAT. Like, he is the greatest director of all time to me. I don't think there is another director who can do basically every single genre that there is, even in his later years where a lot of people are saying, hey, maybe he should hang it up. I'm one of the few who actually has enjoyed his recent work. I loved West Side Story. I think it was my favorite of that year, which I think was 2023. I loved The Fabelmans, which I think was 2022. I enjoyed the hell out of Ready Player One. I enjoyed it. I even liked the BFG. I have fun with it. Yeah, you know, I can understand why some people have some issues with those films, but I personally enjoy them. So going into this movie to say that, yes, I was anticipating it. Yes, I think this was a movie that was going to be in contention for my number one spot of the whole entire year is an understatement. And after seeing it, it is in contention for that top spot of the year. Now, this movie is by no means perfect. It's kind of like the other later Spielberg films that I have seen where I've watched it and I personally loved it, but I can understand why some people don't. I think this is going to be a hell of a conversation piece movie, whether you see it with a friend, with a loved one, with strangers, what have you, and you spark a conversation about this film. Some people are going to feel very strongly about one way or another because in a lot of ways, this is a movie that just isn't made anymore. Now, that is a saying that a lot of people are saying this year, and I think in some places, rightfully so. I think we're moving on from this era of nostalgia and moving into this era of familiarity where we're kind of just going back to the basics. But with this case and this film of why I think this is a movie that just isn't made anymore, we live in a day and age where everything is very quick, where scenes are now being executed as soon as they serve their purpose. Hey, here is what you are supposed to take away from this scene. We move on. Whether that's good or bad, that's another discussion to have with the philosophers. But this is a film that's really going to let you sit in things for quite some time, even after the scene has served its purpose. We're going to live in that purpose for a little bit, and then we are going to move on. Me personally, I absolutely loved it. Now, y'all also know, if you've been around for a hot minute, that I love me a good one-shot, and I love me a good oneer, and there are 3 of them that are executed very, very well. Like, you put a oneer in your movie, and if you put multiple, your movie's going to go from bad to good to great. Like, I'm a very easy customer when it comes to that. Put one of those in there, and all 3 of these are very well executed. But I will say 2 of the 3, I would say, is part of that, of what I just said, that, hey, it's going to serve a purpose. You're going to understand that purpose, and then we're going to live in that purpose for quite some time before we move on, while the other one is just one stealth mission, if you will, that I thought was also very, very good. And the first one in particular was my favorite because that is Emily Blunt's character introduction. And Emily Blunt in this film, along with the long shots, again, from my own personal experience, this to me was her best performance that she has probably ever done in a film. I have not seen all of Emily Blunt's filmography, but I have never been taken aback by her like this. Probably, well, I guess since Oppenheimer, she was pretty good in that too, but I would be very surprised if she is not in contention to be nominated for Best Leading Actress at the Academy Awards this year for this film, because I think she does just take it to a whole other level. And that opening scene, well, after her initial introduction and then she's like going to her job, you see it in the trailer of her at work, and that whole scene expanded is just really breathtaking, because it's not just because it's a oneer, and it's not just one long continuous shot where you're at, where it's kind of like you're watching a play in a lot of ways. Watching Emily Blunt play is what sets that scene over the limit, and it is just like, wow, this woman is just absolutely phenomenal. Not that we already knew that. This was just another, hey, a quick reminder of, oh yeah, maybe I am that girl. You know what I mean? She is phenomenal in this. Everyone in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. Josh O'Connell, Coleman Domingo, who doesn't know the meaning of the word phone in. Colin Firth, he plays a pretty good villain throughout this whole entire film. This tempo, very, very good cinematography. Everything was just really hitting on all cylinders. I was actually talking with a friend about this who saw it. And he said, this movie, it starts as if it's in the second act, and I cannot disagree with, not disagree with it, but I could not agree more is what I am trying to say. Like, again, like you're just thrown right into the middle of it, and you just feel like you're playing catch up, but I mean that in a very, very good way where, again, I was just really happy to go along for this ride. I thought the action was really good. There is a big discussion online about the train scene with the car that I thought was was phenomenal in a lot of ways for what it is. And I love how it embraces the Spielbergness of it. And what I mean by that is that Spielberg's not afraid to get a little goofy with his stuff. He's like, hey, this is a really out there concept. Let's get some really out there ideas that we could put into this. There's this one as we are leading in, as we're transitioning from the second act to the third act. And it's just this whole, the pure commitment and to play it so straight all the way through. I was just having an absolute ball while watching it, where I think I laughed harder in this than I did, any scene in Scary Movie 6 or Masters of the Universe last week. And again, I was just really loving this film for the first two acts. And I thought this was going to be easily my favorite film of the year. Again, it was hitting on all strides. Then we do get to the third act. This is where I start to disagree with some of the decisions that Spielberg was doing. In a lot of ways, I felt like he was trying to wrap it up, which obviously, right, it's the third act, he needs to wrap it up. But this movie, to me, is about 2 hours and 30 minutes long, I believe. And maybe there's another cut where this does go 3, because a lot of motivations that are heading into it, like there's this other character named Jane who is with Josh O'Connor's character. And, they're a couple, and she goes on a journey when, the disclosure is exposed to her, right? And, she is having a really hard time grasping with it, where she's having to go off and do her own thing about what she should do. Now, the movie does enough for us to understand what she is going to do, and when she does what she does in the third act, it does make sense. But man, if we would have gave it a little bit more time to really flesh it out a little bit, I think it would have been a much more bigger moment, as opposed to within the third act, it was just, all right, we checked that off. And, with our villain, with Colin Firth, I just felt like it was a little too easy. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I mean. But I just felt like at the end, when all it was said and done, when it came to his character and his motivations with what happens in the finale, it just felt like the equivalent of slapping a fly away from you. Like, it was just, to quote someone else that does movie reviews in this space, it was just barely an inconvenience. And I just felt like there would have been a little bit more of a fight with everything that we built up in this film. And also, when the disclosure is exposed, a lot of people are really championing this performance, and now the performer in here that's doing this, they do a great job, right? I'm not knocking the performance whatsoever. It's just the decision on how it is chosen to play, not just from the actor, but also from Stephen Spielberg to go, yes, this is how I want this scene. That's exactly how I want it. Good job. I just disagree with it. I just don't think that's how it would ultimately go without getting fully into it. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the disclosure is, and I probably could talk about it, but I do think this is a movie that is best served if you know barely anything. That also knocked down the experience for me a little bit. Again, I'm not going to knock the movie down for that, because that's not fair, but a lot of the marketing will be like, well, this scene hasn't happened yet, and then sure enough, okay, here it was. Okay, well, we need to get to this part of it, and there wasn't as much I don't know what the word is. There wasn't as much suspense or a revelation when things were being revealed. Like, you find out about the disclosure relatively early on, but they do in the beginning go like, ooh, what is it? Please tell me. Like, there's this build up to the reveal of the disclosure before we get to where we're going within the story. And I'm just like, well, yeah, I already know it. Like, just show it. Like, let's not let's not beat around the bush here. Like, come on, let's go. As opposed to if I would have not known anything and I was also trying to figure out the disclosure, which I do think maybe if this movie came out a little bit earlier, I would have had that. Oh, it would have been a much more satisfying reveal. So again, I'm not going to tell you the disclosure, even though you probably already know it. But I do think this is a movie best served if you try not to watch any of the marketing going into it. But yeah, overall, I really did enjoy the film. Is it my favorite of the year? I still have to go back and forth on that. Because, Obsession, I think it's probably going to beat out just a little bit. But between Project Hail Mary and Disclosure Day, that 2 spot is really wide open to really fight for. If I had to rank this on the lemon scale, sour lemon at the bottom, expired store-bought lemonade, bad, but hey, there's some good. Store-bought lemonade, not expired, but hey, still pretty good lemonade when you buy from the store. So a lot of good, but hey, there's some bad in it. Lemonade, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good. Minor problems, nitpick here and there. And then strawberry lemonade at the very top, because the best kind of lemonade. To me, Disclosure Day is easily a freshly squeezed lemonade. Again, if it doesn't have that that struggle within the third act, where I just felt like they couldn't fully land it to me. I do think this is the first movie to get the strawberry lemonade, which this is now the longest that we have gone on the channel without giving a strawberry lemonade. I don't know what that means about quality of movies, or if it comes to my criticisms. I don't know what that fully means, but man, I am itching to give something a strawberry lemonade, and I really thought Disclosure Day may be it. Unfortunately, it is not. But still, freshly squeezed lemonade, very good movie, very much in contention for the top spot of the year of 2026. Go out to the theaters to go see it. If you haven't, I think you're going to have a great time while watching it. And if you don't, I think you're going to have a good discussion with it. But yeah, comment below and let me know your thoughts on Disclosure Day. If you have seen it, leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I'd greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Okay, now I'm going to head on out. See y'all later.